Then I'm going to be doing the code lines and probably the neck grid again and see where else fucking my mind runs off to. But code lines are just a string of current. Usually are in letter form or number form. Sometimes they appear as chains. It all depends on how you actually view the image. Like sometimes in nebulas, so you'll see these current lines, and it almost appears like from like a divine-ish, like the gravity that binds the planets and stars to each other, like they're connected with this code. I mean, that technically doesn't apply because I don't think they're anywhere near that area anyways, but they do turn into chains. But most of the time when you look at these currents, they're usually just letters and numbers. It's usually just letters. I mean, sometimes you can see things within it, but sometimes it's hard to read the lettering and the numbering. Like you look at it, and like as you continue to look at it and look at it, you're like, oh, what is that, C? And then you kind of like zoom in and try to like focus your eyes on the C, and then all of a sudden the C kind of like dilutes into like an S. And like, oh, what the oh no, it's an S. Oh, wait a minute, that's an E. That S is an E. You know, like you're sitting there playing that game with yourself for friggin' hours, unless it's completely blatant and it's just burned into whatever it is that you're looking at, and we're just like, oh yeah, that's a P, that's a C, that's an A, that's an O, that's a, you see S, you see, I don't know, you really see a lot of C's, A's, and O's, to be totally honest with you. I mean, you see a bunch of letters, but it's not like the whole English alphabet is within that, some other type of language. So yeah, they're lines of currents of energy, but code lines are just strings of current. You can see them pretty much everywhere you look. I'm not sure how clear this is going to be. It's just looks like shit, to be totally honest with you. But you can kind of see that. See how like you know, you can kind of observe letters or indentations right here. But see how it's coming from a line that's shooting across. See how there's this current right here. That's what you're looking for. You're looking for things that make lines that that are hidden in the picture, because there's so many different images and layers on top of layers on top of layers, but they are actually distinct. Go to the that one cave in India. So see this line right there? It's a code line. It's just a chain link of letters. It swerves in there, and then C's up right here, and I'm not sure what it actually does here. It's gonna follow. It's tough to follow where it ultimately goes. But you know, you see this line right here. It's clearly distinct. Just a bunch of letters. You can actually see the C, or I mean the O, kind of looks like a chain right here. You see the O right there, connects over here, connects to a C right here. It's making the chain. So you can technically take that chain as a bigger version of that little line and run it through there. So we got the moon, but you can see the line going in there. I mean, technically the line goes there. The depiction that I made, not an accurate portrayal of what ultimately is happening with that line. And you actually see like a pyramid structure within that mouth or whatever it is, but the line actually is going there, and not going into the mouth, it's going way out there. Here's trees. This is like the code line, but like in like a very I'm not sure if primitive or application. It's like the casing of eventually going to be all the letters, I suppose. Like that's how I kind of view this, or I interpret it as. But yeah, here's a letter code going down here. You see, that's what probably the code looks like when they first make it. It's very like chains, or like some type of not DNA, but some type of. I think I've seen that somewhere within biology or something like that. Some type of shape like that, but it's just like a film strip though, like a film strip or chains. And why is this one so visible than other ones? I have no idea. Technically, the theory is you're surrounded by friggin' trillions of these, and whenever you take a picture, you're gonna find a bunch of these on the picture. But they're like, some of them are very blatant and like Maine, like that cave in India. Like this is like this is like directing, like well, it's not directing the picture, but it's a main cog in the picture. But I bet you if you zoomed up really close, you can start picking out all these little small ones. Technically, I think that whole entire system is probably made of webbing of webbing of this, and then like, you know, like all this is like a you know, you got a line here, and then you got a line here, and then whatever the hell it is, it fills that stuff up. But these are the things that keep it all up, or something like that. But why are some more visible than others? I don't know. This one could have just not had holographic images placed over top of it. I'm not actually 100% positive. But if you take a picture of anything, where you see these graphics, and that's pretty much any single thing that you take a picture of, you'll see that you know, it's not really like a system that you can just like follow. You're just like, I follow this line code this way, and then this way, and this way. I'm like, you'll start to get in there that like, oh, here's a line code. Oh, but then there's a line code right, and then a line code, and then a line, 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 and then if you're just trying to pick out every single line code that you see, it would just be nothing but friggin' lines, your whole entire picture. So I just, there's got to be some type of system to it. It could be as chaotic as a nervous system. If you see muscle tissue or stuff like that, it just all branches out, like it looks like it's just organized chaos and stuff like that. But you really can't figure out. I mean, if you go on the dimension of the size, like see how big this one is, can you see any other big ones the size of this one? Like that, so like we'll base our philosophies off the fact that these big ones are ultimately like what this shit looks like that we're looking at. Friggin' that would make sense to take the biggest ones, and if there was other ones that match that size, to what ultimately it looks like. Because if you just go with what I was talking about, whereas just lines and lines and lines and lines, because the deeper you go, it's just more lines and more lines and more lines. You're just gonna have nothing and nothing but lines. There's really no system to technically study. There's no visual, because all it is just lines and lines and lines and lines and lines. You could see which ones are the biggest ones and try to figure out, if I was looking in these woods, what the hell they did to these trees look like from a mechanical standpoint. You could do that, but like it's some, I'm gonna go for it. I was gonna say it's some alien shit, friggin', where you got so many different equations and numbers and all this shit flying around all over the place. But if you think you can do it, fucking do it. I would still say it's more chaotic than it is railway system. You know, like, oh, we put a line here, and then we put a line there, and then the shit in between is all the holograms. And we'll put a line here, and shit. It's more like a nervous system where there's fucking lines going this way and all over the fucking place. It's chaotic. It's just a co-line right there, but that's not really like a line. This right here is just a depiction of like an instrument that they're using. Like, it's just telling you the answer. Like, you know, like I used to do nebulas, and I was just like, you know, I mean, the nebulas I did were fairly given the answers though too. Tarantula Nebula was my favorite, and I just love Tarantula Nebula. But I mean, that's still blatant. That's a blatant lion face. You can see the eye and the nose of the lion. You can see the mane, whatever the hell it's called. Started off on nebulas and stuff. Cutting images out, and like, yeah, I mean, still this is blatant, you know, this is like whatever, but like, you know, later on it's like, you know, like, oh, you kids don't know how good you got it, you know, I had to walk to school and all that shit. You know, I start off with all these nebulas, and they're like, they're kind of hidden, like, yeah, there's some stars in there and shit, you want to study some of that shit, that's cool, fucking, and you just get to some stuff, which is just like, flat out, just like, yo, here's the answer, just check that, here it is, not even fucking around. I'm not even gonna hide this. I'm not gonna put this in a metaphor in your dreams. I'm just gonna fucking flat out just tell you, there it is. Some other shit, fucking beaming some shit through this fucking thing. There it is. Some of these pictures of nebulas and stuff, they started to become like graphic designs. I mean, they could be. I could have just been studying graphic designs, but I don't think I could, because the number of alien images within that symmetrically collaged with each other are just, I don't think anyone fucking made any of that shit. But like, you start to look at some of the stars, and like, where's Holy Light? Like, here's Holy Light. Oh, this is a star nebula. Like, oh, you have this huge priest here, this alien priest. Jesus, what the hell is that? It's like, this is like a graphic rendering, or like this is some kid made this in a computer program or something. I mean, it's possible, but like, the whole point is that, like, I mean, I still moral knowledge is one of the earlier ones that that's my fucking word that I call it. I forgot what the nebula was actually called. This guy's pretty much blatantly telling you that there's friggin'. I mean, when you first look at it, when you're blown away by it, I was blown away by it, so it doesn't make a difference. Like friggin', I was blown away by it too. The fact that like the stars are showing signs of their, their creation, and it's weird too, because like when you, am I gonna open up a can of worms here, or am I gonna fucking make a point that means something and not look bad? I don't even know. I'm not sure if I can forecast that far into the future. Just rip it. Yeah, how do you make images within your mind? I mean, this is I'm probably gonna end up going against what I'm saying right here. Eventually, in a later documentation, it's probably gonna be one of my last ones. But how do you make images within your mind? Isn't that just a bunch of dots making light to make your memory have images and shit? If we have the ability to have an imagination, I'm pretty sure we have the ability to have an imagination. If I want to look at the letter T in my mind right now, and boom, show me a T, boom, there it is. Fucking, I don't know, man. Okay, I don't know. Okay, whatever. That's why I'm crazy. That's why I'm the crazy fuck. I'm getting off topic. The whole point. That's blatant though. That's one. It's not like I had to walk to fucking school and shit. There's a gray alien right there. Eyes, nose, mouth. There's whatever the fuck this machine is. It looks like it's going into the right side of this gentleman's brain. What is that, like intelligence, and these are like me concepts of fucking behavior patterns, and complex mathematical and engineering systems and artistic fucking works and all this type of shit beaming right into your skull. Yeah, so is this silver orb thing right here, friggin' what they broke down as a symbol of brain activity and the capacity of a person, plus their memories, plus all their intelligence, plus all, just a spinning, shiny fucking thing. It's crazy. Anyways, I didn't have to walk to school because of the fact that this image right here is completely blatant, but then you go to images like this and just like, someone made this on their freaking computer. Look at this shit. It's like, oh my god, this is star number 4, Delta 4. What the fuck's this gigantic priest alien doing there? Jesus. What are you guys studying? And it's like, you go to like some person who studies this shit, and it's no fault of the person either. Some people just don't even see any of this shit, but you go to like some person, they're like, oh yeah, we're studying this star, and like, okay, and what other stars you seeing? Oh, we're studying this one over here. Okay, and what about and this one and this one? And like, so you're studying this one, then what do? You go around this guy's neck, and then you go over here, like what the fuck are you talking about? Talking about this big ass friggin' alien priest you got here, Jesus. You need Paxil? Fucking talking about this big ass alien priest right here, Jesus. Like, you're studying this star. What the fuck? Like, if NASA gets this shit, do they throw it in the garbage? Like, I'm trying to study fucking nebulas here, not look at this shit. I don't give a fuck if you are the Lord. Take it and throw it in the trash. It's like a Christmas card or some shit. Fucking trying to study the patterns of the stars. Thank you very much. Scooch. 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 Yeah, you see a line right here. It's like a chain line of stuff. And, it's more cryptic, this one. This one's not really just flat out letters. This is more like I don't know, you see a bunch of little faces there, and it kind of corrals around here. It goes back up this way. I mean, you can always follow these lines, but like I said, like they'll eventually become just nervous system when you start digging deeper and deeper, and it's just all over the fucking place. Like, oh shit, I lost control of the fucking thing. Where'd it go? Fucking. Yeah, so that pretty much is blatantly everything blatantly tells you though. That's why I said, like, yeah, you put in the work and you do. It's on you to put the work in. If you put zero work in, zero work's gonna be done. But like, it's not like you're snooping around in like unauthorized territory and shit. I mean, look at that. Like, they completely totally want you to do. Like, they're like, they probably hid this before. They hid it a little bit, and they're like, okay, fucking, what is that? Oh, I don't know. Okay, what about this, man? What about this shit? Okay, fucking, what is the answer? Okay, the answer's 3. Okay, that's what the answer. The answer's 3. They obviously want to be studied. They want there to be it known that they are there. Here it is. Looks like a track of a roller coaster or something like that. This is like that genetic code line chains that might actually become just a bunch of letters, and that's a huge one. That thing is freaking gigantic. Here's one. Okay, so here's a tree. But do you see something weird with this tree? Not just the faces, but do you see how it angles? Do you see how it shoots in, and then it does multiple angles right here, but it actually shoots in from the side. There's the angle to cut it, and it kind of folds again that way. I mean, you can view it as boom, boom. You can view it as boom, boom, boom. You can view it as boom, 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 boom. See, like, that's what I'm saying. Like, see, this line is not just one straight shot. It's just not one track that you could just continuously follow. Once it got to this point right here, where this cut is, this thing branched off into multiple different directions. So it's hard to always figure out what the hell you're looking at within these holograms. But I just made the clean straight shot. There it is. I mean, you can't really see the code within here. I mean, you can see the faces on the foliage and stuff like that, but you can't really see the line that good. But ultimately, it's all about trying to figure out the angles that aren't ultimately there, or aren't ultimately supposed to be there within nature, and then cutting it from that. That's like your usual starting point to see how the flow of the image actually is within this second. So you can see it there. It just goes up there, and just whoop. That's usually what I start off with whenever I try cutting out pictures, unless there's an actual face that I specifically want to look for or cut out. These ones are usually fun too. Like, see how there's like this really big bubble-ish right here? If you make the right lines, it actually pops out a lot better. Maybe even like a three-dimensional type look to it. But yeah, the first step I usually do is try to figure out the flow of the picture, and these code lines are the main thing. You're trying to find the cuts within the image, and then from there you try to go with those angles as being the angles of what you're ultimately cutting. But there's so many different angles that you can just sit there with one picture for friggin' like a month, do nothing but cut faces out of it, and then I think I got all the pictures or faces, and you just zoom in, oh shit, and then you flip it, and then oh Jesus, and then oh god, fuck that. Yeah, so the images never stop pouring out. Alright, that was code lines. Thank you.